The Bleacher Report app is your destination for sports. Right now, the NBA is heating up, March Madness is here, and MLB is almost back. Every day there's a new headline, a new highlight, a new moment you've got to see for yourself. That's why I stay locked in with the Bleacher Report app. For me, it's about staying connected to my sports. I can follow the teams I care about, get real-time scores, breaking news, and highlights all in one place. Download the Bleacher Report app today so you never miss a moment.
Hello, and welcome to Around the Political World with John Ruffman. I am your host, John Ruffman. If you're a fan of the show, make sure to hit the follow button on the top right of Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you are listening at this very moment. When you hit follow, leave a review or share an episode with a friend. It helps other people discover the show, keeps us going. As I like to point out each and every day, it expands our base. The news is vast, so much to talk about, and I'm going to try to break this down as best I can in the 15 minutes that we have. First, the announcement just a few minutes ago that Donald Trump has suspended for 5 days his decision to attack the infrastructure, the power structure of Iran. Now, the claim that the Trump administration is making, that the president made on Truth Social this morning, is that he has been having, or there have been, constructive talks with Iran to avoid the need to hit, and more than that, a way to settle the crisis with Iran. But that was countered immediately by the Iranian government, who denied that any such talks were taking place. And let me tell you, this is a problem. Who do you believe? And it's a real question. And what will the next few hours bring? Will there be a resolution to the Iranian crisis because of constructive talks between the president and the Iranians? Or will, in fact, Donald Trump be proven to be wrong, that there were no talks at all? This is one of the problems of dealing with Donald Trump. What is true and what is false? And that, my friends, is a serious, serious question. There is a second major issue this morning. ICE has been dispatched to airports around the country. Now, we don't know the details yet, except we know, again, contradictory reports. Is ICE actually working on airport security? Or, which seems to be the case, is it really not a clearly defined mission? There are serious questions about whether ICE should even be involved because they aren't trained to do what people do at airports. And so there are, again, more questions. And a major, major breaking story. Even as we speak, the Supreme Court is going to hear the arguments on mail-in ballots, the argument made by Mississippi that they should not be required to count mail-in ballots that arrive after a deadline. But this is going to be a major test because, as you know, the Save America Act is dead in the Congress, as we knew it would be, and as we suggested to you last week on several occasions that it would be. So all eyes are now on the Supreme Court of the United States. Will the Supreme Court limit the use of mail-in ballots, which is what Donald Trump wants? And how will that affect the future of elections in the United States? This is a serious question. You know there are, presumed to be, 2 Supreme Court justices, Alito and Thomas, who will definitely vote the president's position. But what about the rest? This, my friends, is a huge, huge question. Mail-in ballots are essential. And can you imagine the Supreme Court might rule against the idea of mail-in ballots? Well, this is part of the problem. And of course, big breaking news. Jerome Powell, the nemesis of Donald Trump, has received the John F. Kennedy Profiles in Courage Award. Again, a slap at the President of the United States. And this, my friends, is a slap which demonstrates again the differences that exist in this country over the question of the power of the president. And again, the Supreme Court will be in the center of the action. And now, yet more news. It appears certain to me that J.D. Pritzker, the governor of Illinois, is going to run for president of the United States. Let's be clear. He has just issued a statement that something should be created called Project 2029. Do Do you remember 2025? Do you remember the project which Trump denied he ever read, which laid out the platform for what a second Trump administration would do? Well, J.D. Pritzker is saying, let's codify it. Let's send it to the American people. Let's tell them the truth about a Project 2029, which Pritzker suggests the Democrats need to put together in order to conclude absolutely, clearly, precisely that there is no question about what the Democrats will do if they win, in contrast to the Republicans. J.D. Pritzker is going to run for president, but we'll see how many other people pick up the idea and run with it. And then, of course, the big news over the weekend. The big news was a quote by Donald Trump on Truth Social when he heard about the death of former special counsel and former director of the FBI, Robert Mueller. This is what Donald Trump wrote. Good. I'm glad he's dead. He can no longer hurt innocent people. I want you to reflect on the fact that the President of the United States of America is saying that it is good that a great American patriot died. This kind of statement by the President of the United States is absolutely horrific. And we need, my friends, we need to understand the danger of a President of the United States who, in the words of J.D. Pritzker, is out of control. But there is something seriously wrong with Donald Trump. These efforts, these indications, these statements, these positions are, I would suggest to you in the most emphatic way, a danger to American democracy. I want to say just a word about Robert Mueller and the Mueller report. As you know, it didn't say that Donald Trump was innocent. No, not at all. But the simple reality is that the Trump administration was able to kill the Mueller report. I've read the Mueller report. I've read it cover to cover. I have a copy sitting in my library. And Mueller, without any question, suggests that what Donald Trump did was wrong. And yet, the Trump Justice Department in those days buried any discussion of the Mueller report. There is a serious question about the stability of a man who is President of the United States, who would say about a deceased, powerful, constructive American who, by the way, served longer as director of the FBI than any other American other than J. Edgar Hoover. Good. I'm glad he's dead. He can no longer hurt innocent people. There have been a number of responses, but this one from Adam Schiff, United States Senator from California, and the man who Trump abhors, was clear. Every day, the president shows his basic indecency and unfitness for office. Do you agree or disagree with Adam Schiff? The majority leader of the United States Senate, Chuck Schumer, echoed the sentiment, warning that Trump's cruelty was an intentional distraction from rising gas prices, his aimless war, ICE abusers, and of course the Epstein files. There is no doubt that there is something off with Donald Trump, at least in my mind. Now, you can say that you agree with Donald Trump's positions on key issues, but still question his ability to function. I would remind you this is not the first time we've had a president in this position. Richard Nixon, who did many constructive things as president of the United States. And I would remind you the war on cancer, opening the door to China, détente with Russia, the Environmental Protection Agency. You can go down the list of things that Richard Nixon did that were great, and yet there was clearly a reason why he should not continue as president of the United States. And I believe that is the issue with Donald Trump. Let us understand clearly that when Donald Trump makes these kind of statements, hours after the news of the death of Robert Mueller broke on Saturday, when you have a statement made like that, well, it's so disturbing. It's beyond categorization. Let me continue on this theme by saying something that really does cut to the chase. How do we get our news? We get our news from news sources. And one of the great news sources in America was the CBS Radio News. For almost 100 years, CBS Radio News has dominated the news gathering and set the standard for what news should be. That includes Edward R. Murrow, Walter Cronkite, Eric Sevareid, Howard K. Smith. You can go down the list of CBS News reporters on radio and on television who have made such a difference. The decision by CBS Radio News, this made by Barry Weiss, to eliminate the CBS Radio News network is one of the most shocking developments in American history. It is disgraceful. And I want to be clear about my thoughts on this. We need to react. Now, my former boss, president and general manager of KGO Radio in San Francisco, has made a suggestion. Mickey Luckoff suggested that the CBS radio network, which is now gone, should be purchased by ABC News, that they should hire all of the key people in the CBS radio network and create a new network. And let me tell you, Mickey Luckoff is 100% correct. I support his position beyond words, because the idea that a radio network of such dynamism and power as CBS Radio News Network is gone is appalling. By the way, where is the FCC? Where is the Federal Communications Commission? Why aren't they speaking out about this? And the answer, because they're all in the pocket of Donald Trump. There are so many issues which confront us, which are critical in every single way. Now, let me just point out to you, I've run down a series of issues that affect the stability of the president, the question of who is telling the truth in relation to Iran, the question of what ICE will do or not do at airports across this country, the idea of the central position of the Supreme Court of the United States, which is now going to rule on mail-in ballots, the idea that Jerome Powell received the Profiles in Courage Award, which is a direct slap at Donald Trump, and the idea, which I think is clear and important, that Adam Schiff has suggested that every day this president shows his basic indecency and unfitness for office. Now, if, my friends, this were an interactive radio broadcast, as we had on KGO, I would have asked, what do you think? Do you agree with Trump? Do you agree with Schiff? Who do you believe, Iran or Donald Trump? I would ask these questions, and we would have had a vigorous discussion, which probably could have gone on and on and on, perhaps with no conclusion, but certainly with the ability of people to express their point of view. And that, to me, is one of the most important single elements that comes out of this moment. When you consider all of the issues which I have raised today, we have to have input. We have to be able to respond. And so I want to say very clearly that I'm in mourning today for the CBS Radio News Network. I wonder, here in San Francisco or across the country, with all the affiliate stations who carry the CBS Radio national news hourly, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, who will pick up the mantle of that stellar news service? This is a depressing time. It's a depressing time because, frankly, the man in the White House is, well, beyond description. When the history of these years is written, will the headline be, "Good, I'm glad he's dead. He can no longer hurt innocent people"? That kind of statement by a president of the United States about the longest serving director of the FBI except for J. Edgar Hoover? What will we say in future years? Did we stand up? Did we raise our voices? So I want to applaud again the idea of Mickey Luckoff. I think it's tremendous. Somebody needs to buy the CBS radio news network, produce national news, get back into the swing of really giving in-depth reporting. I am saddened by the turn with CBS News under the leadership of Barry Weiss. I think it is something that we need to think about every single minute. More than that, we need to respond. We need to respond effectively. We need to respond with power and directness. Well, we're going to watch the news today. You can bet your life on that. Thanks for tuning into another episode of Around the Political World with John Rothman. I'd love to hear your thoughts on today's episode. You can write a review on Apple Podcasts, drop a comment on YouTube or Spotify, click any of the links to the show notes to connect with me on social media. And of course, on Friday, you'll submit your questions and we'll answer them. You'll submit them now. Go-Go will go over them and prepare them for what we know will be an interesting week. Please remember to share this episode with a friend or colleague so we can continue to grow and expand, which, of course, is our goal. This audience has been so positive, and we've been getting so much great attention that we're excited to bring on the advertising support that you hear at the beginning and the end of this podcast. This will help to create more opportunities for Around the Political World, and we're happy to share this news with you. I am John Rothman. I want to say a big thank you to Gogo Zoger, the wonderful producer of this program. Do submit your questions. We'll be dealing with them on Friday, but I want you all to know. I want to know what you think. So please, write a review on Apple Podcasts. Drop a comment on YouTube or Spotify. Click any of the links to the show notes to connect with me on social media. This is an important question. And today, we've just raised, a variety of questions that deserve answers. Thanks, Gogo, for all you do. And to all of you, this is John Rothman. Around the Political World will be back tomorrow. And so will you. See you then.
The Bleacher Report app is your destination for sports. Right now, the NBA's heating up, March Madness is here, and MLB is almost back. Every day there's a new headline, a new highlight, a new moment you've got to see for yourself. That's why I stay locked in with the Bleacher Report app. For me, it's about staying connected to my sports. I can follow the teams I care about, get real-time scores, breaking news, and highlights all in one place. Download the Bleacher Report app today so you never miss a moment.
If you like the show, please take a moment to rate, review, and subscribe. It really does help the show to grow. Thank you for listening.